6, proof you have made the narcissist suffer. Ladies and gentlemen, warriors, survivors, you've been through the storm. You've faced manipulation, gaslighting, and an endless cycle of emotional warfare. But guess what? You're still standing. And today, I'm here to tell you something powerful. You have not only survived, but you have won. That narcissist, the one who tried to break you, silence you, control you, they are the ones suffering now. How do you know? Because there are undeniable signs, proof that their worst nightmare has come true. You are no longer their puppet. You are no longer feeding their fragile ego. And here's how you know you've made them suffer. They try to regain control. The moment you stop playing their game, they panic. They reach out. They hoover. They suddenly act like they care. But let me tell you something. That's not love. That's fear. They fear losing control over you. And when they lose control, they lose power. They smear your name. When a narcissist can't control you, they try to control how others see you. The whispers, the rumors. It's all a desperate attempt to keep their false reality intact. But hear me loud and clear. Your truth will always outshine their lies. They play the victim. Now they act like you hurt them. They tell people you abandoned them, that you were cruel, that you changed. But let's be real. Who suffered in that relationship? Who had to walk on eggshells? Who had to constantly prove their worth? It was you. And the fact that you're no longer willing to do that, it's eating them alive. They look for a replacement fast. They can't be alone. The moment they sense you slipping away, they're hunting for their next victim. But let me tell you the truth. You were never replaceable. They can try, but deep down they know no one else will tolerate their games the way you did. They seem unbothered, but it's a lie. They'll act like they don't care, like they've moved on without a second thought. But here's the thing about narcissists. They thrive on attention. The fact that you're no longer giving it to them, that's their worst nightmare. You feel peaceful. And this, my friends, is the biggest proof of all. When you step away from the chaos, from the manipulation, from the constant emotional drain, what happens? You finally feel free, that peace, that relief, that inner calm. It's the very thing they never wanted you to have. And that right there is how you know you have won. The final message, so here's my message to you. Never go back. Never second guess your decision to walk away. You didn't lose them, they lost you. And your greatest revenge is living a life they can no longer touch. So go out there and thrive. Be happy, be successful, be unstoppable. Because the moment you do, you become the very thing a narcissist fears the most, unbreakable. Taking back your power makes the narcissist suffer. You ever notice how a narcissist thrives when you're weak? When you're doubting yourself, when you're running in circles trying to prove your worth? That's not an accident. That's the design. They need you unsure. They need you afraid. They need you questioning every move you make, because as long as they have your mind, they have control. But the moment you take your power back, game over. That's when the tables turn. That's when the shift happens. That's when they start to feel what they've been avoiding their entire lives. Powerlessness. You see, narcissists are not strong. They are fragile. Their entire identity is built on the illusion of dominance, but it's a house of cards. The second you stop feeding their ego, their entire world starts crumbling. They never expected you to walk away. They never thought you'd wake up. They were betting on you staying stuck, begging for their approval, chasing a love that never really existed. But now you're doing something they never prepared for. You're standing up. You're walking away. You're reclaiming the parts of yourself they tried to destroy. And that is what they fear the most. Because let me tell you something, it was never about love. It was always about power. It was about keeping you small so they could feel big. And when you stop playing that game, when you choose yourself, when you look in the mirror and say, I am enough without needing their validation, that's when they start to break. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to exist without someone catering to their needs, filling their empty void, giving them the attention they crave. And when you take that away, they spiral, they lash out. They try to come back. They tell you they've changed. They try to guilt trip you. But let's be real. Have they ever changed before? No, and they won't now. What's happening isn't about change, it's about desperation. They are desperate to get you back into their cycle, to make you believe they hold the power. But here's the truth. They never did. The power was always yours. You just forgot for a little while, and now you remember. Now you're stepping into the strongest version of yourself. Now you are setting boundaries they can't break. Now you are choosing your peace over their chaos. And that's why they're suffering. Not because you hurt them, not because you betrayed them, but because you finally did what they feared most. You woke up, you took back control, and now you're free. Their attempts to regain control prove their weakness, not their strength. You ever notice how when you finally leave, suddenly they care? Suddenly they want to talk. Suddenly they're the most loving, apologetic, changed person you've ever met. It's funny how that works, isn't it? But let's get one thing straight. This isn't love. This isn't growth. This isn't a realization that they messed up. This is fear. This is desperation. This is a predator who just lost their prey. Because here's the truth. If they really loved you, they wouldn't have treated you like an option. They wouldn't have disrespected you, manipulated you, made you question your own reality. They wouldn't have waited until you left to act right. And let's be real. They're not even acting right now. They're just acting. It's a performance, a show, a last-ditch effort to pull you back into the cycle before you fully break free. They'll say all the right things. They'll make promises. They'll cry. They'll beg. But the moment you come back, it's the same old story, the same old games, the same old cycle of manipulation, control, and pain. Because nothing has changed except one thing, you. You're different now. You see through the lies. You recognize the pattern. You know that every time they lose control, they switch to damage control. But that's all it is, an illusion of change, a temporary fix to keep you hooked. Real love isn't conditional. Real love doesn't require suffering as proof. Real love doesn't wait for you to break before it decides to show up. And here's where the magic happens. When you don't fall for it, when you don't respond, when you don't give them another chance, that is when they start to panic. That is when their weakness is exposed. Because for the first time in their lives, they're realizing something they never thought possible. You don't need them anymore. And nothing scares them more than that. Smear campaigns are a sign that you've won. You ever wonder why the moment you walk away, they suddenly start talking about you? Why they suddenly have all these stories, all these lies, all these twisted versions of reality where they're the victim and you're the villain? It's because they're terrified. See, narcissists don't just manipulate you. They manipulate everyone around you. Their biggest fear is being exposed for what they truly are. So what do? They start poisoning the narrative before you can speak your truth. They tell people you are crazy, that you are the problem, that you abandoned them, that you changed. And the worst part, some people believe them. But let me tell you something. The people who truly matter, they see through it. They see the inconsistencies, they see the desperation, they see the gaps in their story. Because here's the thing about narcissists. They can fake a lot of things, but they can't fake peace. And when you walk away and live your life unbothered, when you don't engage, when you don't try to defend yourself, it speaks louder than any lie they can tell. Your silence is power. Your growth is power. Your happiness is power. And that's what drives them insane. They wanted you broken. They wanted you angry. They wanted you to fight back so they could keep the drama alive. But when you don't, when you just move on, that's the ultimate loss for them. Because deep down, they know the truth. They know they lost someone irreplaceable. And no matter how many lies they tell, no matter how many people they manipulate, they can't escape that reality. So let them talk. Let them spread their lies. Let them exhaust themselves trying to rewrite history, because you've already won. Their new supply is a poor replica for you. You ever notice how quickly they move on? How all of a sudden they have a new soulmate, a new obsession, a new person they swear is different. And the one, let me tell you something right now. It's not love. It's not destiny. It's not fate. It's desperation. It's survival. See, narcissists don't love, they use. They don't connect, they consume. And the moment you take away their supply, your attention, your energy, your devotion, they go hunting for a replacement. But here's the truth. You were never replaceable. They can try, they can post pictures, they can flaunt their new relationship, they can try to make you jealous, but deep down they know the truth. They lost something they will never get back. Because here's what they don't want to admit. They didn't leave because you weren't enough. They left because you were waking up. They left because they couldn't manipulate you anymore. They left because they knew their power over you was slipping. And now they're doing everything in their power to pretend they're happy. But listen to me, it's all an illusion. That new person, that new supply, they are living the same nightmare you once did. They just don't know it yet. They're being love bombed. They're being sold a dream. They're being pulled into a web of lies, but it won't last. It never lasts, because the problem was never you. The problem is them. And no matter who they're with, no matter how hard they try, they can't outrun the emptiness inside them. And while they're busy trying to convince the world they've moved on, you're healing, you're growing, you're building a life so full, so powerful, so free that their games don't even matter anymore. And that is what truly destroys them. Silence is her greatest weapon. You want to know the one thing a narcissist can't stand? The one thing that makes them lose their mind faster than anything else? Silence. Not anger, not fighting, not screaming or exposing them. Just silence. Complete, total, unshakable indifference. See, narcissists don't just want control over your life. They want control over your mind, over your emotions, over your reactions. They need you to respond. They need you to engage. Because as long as you're reacting, they still have power. They don't care if you hate them. They don't care if you're angry. As long as you're still invested in them, they're winning. But the second you go silent, the second you stop explaining, stop defending, stop proving your worth, they lose. Because nothing terrifies a narcissist more than realizing they no longer exist in your world, that they no longer have a single ounce of power over your emotions. They try to provoke you, they send messages, they spread lies, they bait you into reacting. But when you don't, when they realize they have no control left, that's when they start to unravel, because narcissists don't move on. They obsess. They stew in their own anger, wondering why they can't pull you back in. They need your attention to survive. So when you starve them of that, when you leave them with nothing, that is the ultimate revenge. And the best part, you don't even have to lift a finger, just walk away. Stay silent and watch them crumble under the weight of their own emptiness. Your peace is the ultimate proof of their failure. Do you remember what it felt like when you were with them? The anxiety, the stress, the never-ending tension, like you were always walking on eggshells? That wasn't love, that was control. That was manipulation. That was them keeping you in a constant state of chaos so you wouldn't have the clarity to leave. But now you wake up in peace. Now you don't have to question every text, every conversation, every interaction. Now your mind is free. And that is how you know you've won. Because narcissists don't want you happy. They don't want you thriving. They don't want you living a life of joy and fulfillment. They want you broken. They want you second-guessing yourself. They want you stuck in a cycle where they are the center of your universe. But the second you step away and find your peace, the second you realize that life without them is not just better, but easier, that's the moment they lose, because peace is something they will never have. You see, narcissists live in constant chaos. They create drama because they can't sit with themselves. They stir up conflict because they have no real identity, no real sense of self. And when they see you calm, happy, moving forward, it reminds them of what they can never have. Your peace is proof of their failure. It's proof that they didn't break you. It's proof that they were never as powerful as they wanted you to believe. So embrace it, protect it. Never let them drag you back into their storm, because your peace, that is their greatest punishment. Success is the best revenge. Go live a life they can't touch. You ever notice how they expected you to fail? How they thought you'd be lost without them? How they thought they were the best thing that ever happened to you? That's the biggest joke of all. Because the truth is, your life without them isn't just good, it's better than ever. You see, they wanted you dependent. They wanted you doubting yourself. They wanted you believing that you needed them to be whole. But now you're building a life they can't touch. A life filled with love, success, and genuine happiness. A life where they don't exist. And that is the ultimate revenge. Because narcissists don't just want you back. They want to see you struggle. They want to see you broken. They want to see you still wrapped up in the pain they caused. But when you rise, when you thrive, when you become everything they tried to convince you that you weren't, that is the one thing they can't handle. So go after your dreams, build your empire, create a life so full of joy, love, and success that their memory becomes nothing more than a footnote in your story. Because the best revenge isn't anger, it isn't bitterness, it isn't proving them wrong, it's winning. And when you step into your power, when you realize you were never the problem, when you become so fulfilled, so unstoppable, so free that their existence becomes irrelevant, that's the moment you've truly won. And that is the moment they suffer the most. You are unbreakable. Listen to me. Everything you've been through, everything they put you through, every moment of doubt, pain, and confusion, it all led you here, to this moment, to this realization. You have won, not because you fought them, not because you got revenge, but because you chose yourself, because you refused to stay small, because you walked away from a battle that was never yours to fight in the first place. They wanted you broken. They wanted you dependent. They wanted you questioning your worth, your sanity, your reality. But guess what? You're still standing. And not just standing, you are thriving. You are rising. You are stepping into a version of yourself that they never wanted you to become. A version that is strong, confident, untouchable. The pain they caused, it's no longer a weight, it's fuel. The wounds they left, they're not scars, they're proof of your resilience. And the peace you feel now, that's your greatest victory. Because here's the truth. Narcissists don't destroy strong people. They target strong people. They saw your light, they saw your power, and they tried to take it for themselves. But what they didn't realize is this: you were never theirs to break. So what do you do now? You go out and build the life they never wanted you to have. You love yourself harder than they ever could. You chase your dreams with a fire they could never understand. You become so successful, so joyful, so untouchable that their existence becomes irrelevant. Because the best revenge is no longer caring. The best revenge is living a life so full that their memory fades into nothing. And that, my friend, is the moment you truly win.